Thank you so much to our panelists for your absolutely fantastic presentations. I do want to just speak for you just a moment about our foundation. If you're not familiar with AIM at Melanoma, we were founded 20 years ago by Val Guild when her 25-year-old daughter was diagnosed with melanoma and then subsequently lost her life to melanoma 9 months later. And then it became Val's absolute mission to do two things. One, to find a cure for melanoma in our lifetime. We are doing that by raising money and then funding tissue banks that are all over the country. And then in addition to that, we want to support people who are living with melanoma. And that largely comes through education. I hope that our presenters will agree with me that we do not want you to make an appointment with Dr. Google. And so therefore, we would like to point you to AIM at Melanoma's website. We try to make sure that the information that you find on there is up to date, relevant, and reliable. By far, our most frequently visited pages are the pages on staging and their relevant treatment, also on side effects. And then in addition to that, we have a brand new section on clinical trials, what they are, the various types, so that if you have an interest in participating in a clinical trial, you'll have a better understanding of what is accomplished through clinical trials. One of the things that we're very proud of is a new set of Melanoma 101 videos. The first three are called I've Been Diagnosed with Melanoma, Now What? They're absolutely fantastic. The third one is geared towards caregivers because we know that caregivers are very much involved in that treatment journey. We have a program called Ask a Medical Expert. Melissa Wilson, who is an oncology PA working out of Pittsburgh, she will answer your questions. For those people whose questions don't get answered today, I encourage you, please, to go to our website and fill out that form, and Melissa will do her very best to answer your question. Her goal is not to change your plan of care, is to help you make sure that you understand what your next steps are and why. Because she, has been asked often the same questions over and over again, she decided to make a series of webinars called From the Clinic to the Living Room. So these are the most frequently asked questions from that Ask a Medical Expert. We encourage you to watch those. They're absolutely wonderful. And I encourage you to go to our website and look at our symposiums. With AIM at Melanoma co-hosts 10 symposiums a year. Just like the presentations today, the presentations are taken, edited, divided by topic, and then put back on our website. So you can go back as far as 5 years and look at presentations from cancer centers all across the country. Lastly, I want to tell you about our podcast called Beyond the Clinic. It is hosted by Ray Liu, who is an oncologist with Kaiser Permanente. The things that we cover in Beyond the Clinic are the kinds of things you may not talk about in a typical visit with your doctor. There are things like exercise or being friends with the sun again, those kinds of things. So please go listen to those. We have lots of wonderful experts on those podcasts. Then the last thing I want to talk to you about is Peer Connect. Peer Connect is a one-on-one mentorship program. We have volunteers who have gone through a treatment journey. They're on the other side of it, and they have stepped forward and trained to be mentors to people who are newly diagnosed. So if you are new in this journey and you would like to have someone to come into your circle of trust, somebody who is empathetic and understands what you're feeling, please reach out to AIM and we will connect you with a mentor. And also, if you are on the other side of your treatment journey and you would be willing to walk along somebody, please reach out to us. So I want to put up this is my contact slide so that you can reach out to AIM with questions about any of the things that I've just covered or anything else that you may wonder if we have a resource for you. being together here today is very powerful. That's what Peer Connect is about, is really that opportunity to be with people that understand what you're going through, what you're living through, and, share your passion for curing melanoma and for finding effective treatments. I want, in my closing, to introduce you to Tom. Tom is a melanoma survivor. He's a Peer Connect mentor. And last year, he lives right here in Boston. And last year, he decided that he was going to start a Steps Against Melanoma walk. I'm going to let Tom speak for himself. So I'm going to switch slides, and then I'm going to speak to the sky and say, Eric, go.
Hey everyone, thank you for attending the symposium. Sorry I couldn't be there live. I have a family trip I'm going to be at, or I currently am at. So just want to take a few minutes, talk about my cancer journey, my work with AIM at Melanoma, and an upcoming event we have coming up next weekend. So first, I'm a Boston guy. I grew up in Revere. I live in Chelmsford, married almost 7 years, got 2 little ones at home, a 3 and a 7-year-old. So my melanoma story, as long as I can remember, going back to, my preteen years, I would always get skin checks. And part of that was because of a family history. I had an uncle who had melanoma. My mom went through 9 different cancer battles, non-melanoma related, over a 12-year period. So everything went smooth for a lot of years. In 2013, at the age of 34, I went in for a typical routine skin check. Had one mole they were going to biopsy. I had a spot on my stomach that was itchy, perfectly circular, didn't meet any of the criteria of the ABCDEs of melanoma. And I just asked the doctor, hey, can you just please biopsy it? And 2 weeks later, sitting in a work training, remember getting a phone call from my doctor saying, hey, call me on my cell phone when you get a chance. First sign that things weren't great. So I went back in, found out it was a stage 0 melanoma. So very lucky that we caught it early. Very lucky that I advocated to say, please biopsy that. In 2014, so the year after, I went in for some genetic testing, just given our family history, the relatively young age at my first melanoma, and I found out I had a genetic mutation, putting me at high risk for melanoma, kidney cancer, and pancreatic cancer. As a kid, I always had those dreams of, the cool genetic mutations you see in the movies. Mine wasn't as cool, but it gives me a little bit of a heads up of what might come down the road. Went 7-8 years with pretty routine skin checks, endoscopies, and MRIs. 2021, had a random pink spot show up on my right arm. Went in, doctor said, yeah, that looks suspicious. They biopsied it. It was a stage 1A melanoma. That one hit a little bit differently. At that point, my first one, I was single guy, no kids. Now I have 2 little ones at home and really struggled with that diagnosis and what it could be in the future for me and my family. And that's when I got in touch with AIM at Melanoma. I came across them just through an internet search. They offered up mentorship programs, and I talked to a few folks that really helped me get my mind in a better place and just really understand to live in the moment and not let these diagnoses impact me as much as they could. In those conversations, I realized that I could bring something to the table as well to help mentor folks who are newly diagnosed with young families. And that started my journey with AIM. I was talking to a couple of folks there about a charity golf tournament that I run in memory of my mom, unrelated to the whole melanoma thing. And that turned into an opportunity for me to organize the Steps Against Melanoma event in the Boston area. We had our first event last year. It was successful. I'm hoping to grow that this year. And that event is coming up on Sunday, October 1st in Chelmsford, Massachusetts from 9 to 1. The reasons I volunteered, I think obviously I have my story, but I've seen the amazing breakthroughs between 2013 and my first diagnosis and today, and just the treatment options and the ability to diagnose and catch things earlier. And all of that money that gets raised at events like this help to fund that research. Also, with that genetic mutation, the really big part for me is if either or both of my kids have that mutation, I want to know that I did my part to help make things as great as it can be if they ever have to fight this battle. The other important part is raising awareness about melanoma, making sure people understand the ABCDEs, the importance of yearly skin checks, and how to minimize the risk. So for those reasons, that's why I'm involved here. Would love to see some of you attend this event next Sunday, October 1st. We're going to have a lot of great people there, music, games, raffle. So my favorite raffle this year so far is the Boston Celtics team signed basketball. We have a lot of local businesses contributing gifts for the raffle as well. We'll have free skin checks on site. So someone will give you a visual skin check. Ice cream truck, food truck. There's a playground if you have kids. My kids will be there. My family will be there. And working on a couple of other surprises here. So please consider joining us again, Sunday, October 1st, 9 to 1 at the Byam School. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. Have a great weekend.